What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the decidedly debonair Dr. Disaster, and we have talked about how catastrophically bad the art style and graphics look for the upcoming cozy Lord of the Rings game, Tales of the Shire. Gamers have ripped this thing apart in every trailer they put out, basically telling the developers, "Go back to the Shadow." I mean, look at this crap. It is absolutely atrocious. It looks like it belongs on a PS2 game or Nintendo Wii or something like that. And as a result of all the criticism that they've seen for this turd, Weta Workshop has already delayed the game before. It originally sounded like the game was coming out in late 2024, then they pushed it back to near the end of March, but as soon as Assassin's Creed Shadows announced that they were delaying their game until the end of March as well, Tales of the Shire said, "Get the hell out of here!" Well, as I noted the other day, if you look at the Steam page for this game, it cannot be pre-ordered right now, even though we are about a month away from the game's supposed launch. This is a bad sign, and it generally indicates that the developers are considering delaying the release. You may remember that this is what happened with Assassin's Creed Shadows. At one point, that game was supposed to launch in the middle of February, but in January, we noted that the game couldn't be pre-ordered yet, and eventually it was delayed. Tales of the Shire has a very similar arc to it.
Let's just take the L and move on.
That being said, the other day I speculated in my video that the only reason Tales of the Shire might consider standing pat at their July 29th release date is because there was virtually no competition for them in that time period, which would potentially allow them to thrive, or at least thrive as much as they possibly could with that ugly ass art style. However, as you can see from this headline here, it looks like somebody has changed all that. There is now, in fact, direct competition for what Tales of the Shire is selling, a cozy styled game in a fantasy setting. The Sims 4 is releasing DLC called Enchanted by Nature, which looks like a direct challenge to Tales of the Shire. And if you ask me, this makes it more likely that the developers of Tales of the Shire will look at this situation and say, "Fly, you fools." Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. A lot of you have been doing that lately because it is already time to ask the following question.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo! I gotta say, I especially love using that clip in the wake of the official announcement of a Spaceball sequel with my guy Rick Moranis coming back to acting and reprising that role, but there are now 136,000 space pirate a-holes in this Buccaneer crew, and as is the custom on this channel, with every 1,000 subscribers, we add a new ship to the fleet in order to house the newcomers. This time, one of you guys recommended this, the Citadel Station from System Shock. If any of you have recommendations for future ships, drop them into the comment section and I will add them to my long list. Super Chats get bumped to the top of the list with the other Super Chats. Also, I am adding an alphabetical list of every ship already in the fleet to the description of the video for your reference. But in any case, thanks for being here, folks. It is much appreciated.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Alrighty then, let's take a look at this Sims 4 DLC, which was just announced and which appears to be a direct response to Tales of the Shire. You might remember that the last time Tales of the Shire was delayed, it was about a month or so away from the release of that game. So, it definitely isn't too late for them to make any announcements, and in fact, the more I look at this situation where the game can't even be pre-ordered, the more it seems to me like they appear a bit flighty. The game wasn't available to purchase on the PlayStation Store, the Nintendo Store, and only the Nintendo version of it popped up on Amazon, at least at the moment. And of course, a company would want their game to be pre-orderable as early as possible under most circumstances. The only exception that I can think of as to why a developer would wait so long to make the game orderable is if they're considering a delay, because they don't want to deal with the fallout from people canceling orders and asking for refunds. But this article here from Game Rant talks about the sudden competition for Tales of the Shire. Let's read it. They say, Tales of the Shire stands apart from other cozy games by taking place within the Lord of the Rings universe of Middle-earth. Hobbits are closely associated with food, living in harmony with nature, and their homes that blend seamlessly into the landscape are evidence of that. However, The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature is releasing just a few weeks before Tales of the Shire, with a premise similar enough to put itself on the same playing field as Tales of the Shire. The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature expansion pack is set to release in July, just a few weeks before Tales of the Shire, and will include many of its features. Tales of the Shire and The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature aren't one for one, but their setting and gameplay are similar enough to become a worry for Tales of the Shire. In the official trailer for The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature, a sim home that looked a lot like a hobbit hole was spotted, giving rise to speculation that players will be able to create their own hobbit holes with the tools that come with the expansion pack. And at this point, I would like to point out the massive discrepancy between the reception of these two trailers for both of these games. The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature trailer currently has just under 1 million views after 8 days of being available, and it has 50,000 likes to 7,000 dislikes. For as much as I personally do not care for that style of game, The Sims has a pretty big following, and the people who like this kind of gaming seem to think that this trailer was a win. Conversely, as I covered the other day, the Tales of the Shire trailer has jack shit for views, with 37,000 after 12 days, and to top it off, this game has been ratioed by people who loathe the art style and the embracing of diversity in Middle-earth. It is nearly a 2-to-1 ratio with 1,000 likes to almost 2,000 dislikes. So yeah, this Sims 4 expansion is direct competition for Tales of the Shire with actual enthusiasm from certain segments of the gaming community, while Tales is just a dud waiting to happen. But that doesn't stop the journalist who wrote this article from trying to cultivate some positivity for Tales of the Shire. They write here, some players have expressed hesitation regarding Tales of the Shire's art style, particularly when it comes to its character models. While the environmental design and cozy atmosphere have generally received praise for capturing the idyllic charm of the Shire, I haven't seen that praise personally, though in fairness, I haven't seen anyone really shit on the environment design specifically either, but the Hobbit characters themselves have sparked debate. Some fans feel that the models appear too stylized or simplified, but the game's delays have worked to its advantage, and the art style has become more refined closer to launch. It really hasn't though, has it? The characters in that trailer that we covered just the other day were still horrendous, and the commenters agreed. Look at what people said. Everything looks great, except for the character models. They give off a weird vibe. It looks like a very relaxing game to play, like Animal Crossing, and I love games like that, but I don't like the character design very much. Would be interesting if it didn't look like it was made for PS1. I could go on and on, but you get the idea. People don't care for the looks of this game at all. The designs are dog shit, and right about now, I would be very worried if I were Weta Workshop, because it looks like The Sims is coming for their ass. They don't want to give up any of their market share over on The Sims, and they are challenging Tales of the Shire in a big way. And because of this, it sure wouldn't shock me if we found out that Tales of the Shire ended up being delayed. In fact, at this stage, I just about expect it. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of Tales of the Shire into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.